Music is one of the biggest parts in heaven, and it is everywhere. But they have 1,000 drummers. I've been in the throne room many times, and guess what? There's different things that go on. Not everything is the same all the time. And so if you go one time, if people go once, they think it's that way all the time. It always looks the same. You know, if you go someplace to visit a place, it's not the same every time you go there, right? You go 4 or 5 times, different things going on. It's the same in the throne room. Sometimes I've seen it filled with all kinds of people. I've seen them when they had 1,000 drummers, and they have this thing called the warfare beat. And I've actually heard them imparting it into ministries. I'd hear them start on those war drums. Lightning comes from the drums. Bolts of lightning start shooting out of the drums when they hit this certain beat that they do. And those lightning bolts, if you're in the throne room and they hit you, you go down. You didn't die. You thought you did again, but you didn't. It's love. It's passion. Those lightning bolts are filled with the passion of God. It's what He's about to send to this earth. It'll hit you in the throne room and you go down and feel like you're melting in a puddle of love. You know? It makes me think of some of the old songs they used to sing about love. But they have 1,000 drummers and you hear it all over heaven. Now when they have them in the throne room, everybody wants to come. If you want to know, one of the main ways they get to the throne room and when you're in heaven is you begin to worship. You are carried on your praise. Literally ride on it. You are caught up and ride across the skies of heaven on your worship. You see streams of people going in one direction. That would be the throne room of God. If you've never experienced when you started worshiping, you just wanted to leave. You feel that, I just want to leave, I have to go. That is totally normal for your spirit to feel that way. Because in heaven it does that. In heaven, your spirit goes with the worship and you go straight into the throne room of God. So they want to hear the drummers, and everybody loves the drums. And they have some styles, I couldn't even tell you what they were made out of. They have some very strange, unique, different kinds of drums up there. And they make even some of them really high-pitched sounds. They would maybe like to try to get there down here, but music is amazing. But it does produce down here when I see people drumming and that comes on them, when you play musical instruments, it produces rays or ribbons of light. I call it ribbons because they swirl. All these ribbons start coming out like colors of the rainbow. But they don't just stay there. They begin to weave something. They're weaving a masterpiece of artwork. When you sing, you do it. When you sing in the spirit realm, all around you, this is what you're creating with your worship. You create masterpieces. It's like a big tapestry, but it's a scene of something from your heart. It's something coming from you. You're making this for the Father and the Son. And when you're done creating it, the angels take it before the throne of God, and then they hang it in your praise gallery. Every single person has a praise gallery in heaven. You get a lot more than your mansion. He told you about the mansions. But eye is not seen, remember? You have a praise gallery. When you dance before the Lord, every time the angels come, put a canvas, a spiritual canvas under your feet. You paint a masterpiece with your dance. And I can't tell you how many people have come and said, I have this really strong impression, but it sounds crazy. We have dancers, and I feel like putting a big canvas down and letting them dip their shoes and paint. Is that crazy? And I go, no, because that's what's happening in the spirit realm. We literally are starting to connect. Our spirits are starting to connect with the spirit realm of heaven. A lot of the things that they're introducing, like all the art, I was explaining last night also that in heaven, the conductors of the symphonies are the artists. Now you paint while they play worship. In heaven, they play what they're painting. It's a totally different place. Here's all of the symphonies or the bands are here. They line the artist up just like this in a big semicircle with their backs to them. And as they're painting with the paintbrushes, they're playing what they're creating with their art. Isn't that awesome? Y'all look staring at me. See what I mean? That your normal mind would have never thought of that. So now we're kind of getting it. We're getting part of it. But in heaven, the art creates the music. And that all of the people on the instruments play what the artists are painting. Because it's a spirit realm. You got to get out, everybody put your hand on your head right now. Get a hold of your mind, your natural mind, take it out and set it on a shelf. Because it is not going to figure out anything, I'm telling you. That's why it says, it has not entered into your mind. It can't in your natural mind. The things of God are discerned by what? Your spirit. That's what the word says. So open your spirit wide open, because it's going to get fed big time today. So the drums literally were made to create warfare. And I know King David had a lot of them. Solomon had a lot of them. I love it that when he sent the worshipers out ahead of the armies, they actually carried drums, and they would play those drums over and over. They would drive the enemy nuts. The Israelites would drive their enemy nuts because they start playing them days before anything was going to happen. And they did it 24 hours a day. They didn't even get to sleep because they could hear those drum beats coming. And so it's more of a warfare thing than anything. And it gets you excited, doesn't it? Do something on the inside of you. You want to stand up and shout and run around? Well, that's what the people do in the throne room. When those 1,000 people go, 1,000 drummers, how big is that place? I don't know. Nobody's ever measured it. I don't think you can, because it's alive. As people come in, it expands. Everything in heaven is alive. The throne room, and people hear the throne room, there is a temple in heaven. On the new earth, there'll be no temple. But right now, there actually is a building. It's a beautiful white building. It looks marble or alabaster. I can't tell what it is. The glory is so much on it. Sometimes there's mist. The glory cloud sits on things in heaven, too. You walk up and there's big clouds on things, but it's an amazing, awesome building. But usually I'm just there when they bring me. I don't walk through the door. I'm right there. I'm caught up in a second. I'll take a second to explain that. I know what a blink of an eye is. I know what that means. You don't have time to think about it. 1 second, I could be standing here just like this, and then count to 3. 1, 2, 3. I could have gone to heaven and been there for hours. You would never know. People don't know. There is no time in eternity. No time at all in eternity. And in a second of a time down here, you could do all kinds of stuff in heaven. And they don't even know how long they've been there. They don't care. The one thing they're waiting on is for you to get there. They're enjoying their life, waiting for you. And so, but everybody gets up and they start doing this war dance in the throne room. It makes me think of some of the Indians, literally in some of the tribes. And they even have this place, I know they use flags and banners. I love it when I see flags. They have such pageantry in the throne room of God. And I love to tell people this. If you like to make banners down here, guess what you'll be doing? You'll be making them for the throne room. Whatever is on that banner, when they start running with it, comes alive. Literally, if there's a lion, the lion comes alive on the banner and begins to take and roar off of the banner. They roar. If there's trumpets on it, you run. The trumpets start trumpeting off that banner. They're like 30 feet long. It's awesome. It is awesome. And the people start doing this war dance, and they have these, and I've never told anybody this. Y'all get new stuff. You're dragging out of me. We've had one question. I can't help it. Let's answer another one.
Well, what about what you had
They have huge staffs all over, these big urns, and people get out and start hitting them when they do this war dance. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was wondering about what do people do up there? I know that there's no time. I know that there's probably no thing as such as an agenda. Mm-hmm. That was one. And then the other thing is, do you have any revelation on the truth about end time circumstances for the church?
Well, that's my message tonight. The last part is. But I can talk about what they do in heaven, absolutely. Now, they have events. There's no calendar, there's no clocks, no watches, no alarms, there's no anything written down. The only place they have is something written down where they have libraries and stuff like that. There is a timeline. embedded in the throne room, back behind the throne. The throne